Okay guys, today I'm going to rebuild my canister filter, and I've had several people ask me to show a video of how to take it apart, what I do to service it, and some do's and don'ts so you don't kill all your bacteria off. So I'm going to show you what I do. I'm not saying what I do is perfect or correct. I'm just going to give you some insight on what I've done. Okay. I've had several people tell me that you do your canister filter changes or servicing according to water clarity. My water is fairly clear still. You see some air in it. Several fish. I'm probably running close to 30 fish. I've taken some fish in from some people that have had some fish have been beat up, and I watch my fish. We have 3 tanks. We move them around as we need to, but you can see here we have a variety. I know that some of your fish lovers are going to go crazy, but we do keep a full variety in our tank. But you want you just pretty much notice the clarity. I'm currently running 2 Penn Plex 1000s, and the reason I like to run 2, you got a backup. Second of all, 125 gallon tank. I probably need a little bit more filtration than the one's capable of, but also I can service them one at a time, so I keep the bacteria going, so I never have a complete new filter coming in. So I'll do one now, in a month and a half, 2 months, I'll do the other one. So I run about a month and a half to 2 months between, and I actually get 3 months on each filter. I'm just going to unplug this one filter. I'm going to close the valves here. It has 2 valves, one in, one out. They're just ball valves. You turn them 90 degrees of the line, and then we're going to unscrew them. I got a towel here because we are going to lose a little bit of water when we do this. If you back them out, you're going to notice I'll get a little bit of water out of just the fitting. There won't be any water run out of the tank because we have these both locked. There's a little bit of water. I just use my towel and catch it. A little bit of water there again. That's pretty much it. You can kind of see there is some natural, just your natural dirt there. There's nothing here to worry about O-rings dropping out or losing them. Pretty good connection. You see here, I checked the threads. There's nothing broke. These will actually swivel. They have an O-ring under them. So you're not going to hurt those. Okay. So first thing, safety. Try to keep my electrical cords out of the way as much as possible. We're not going to use any cleaners on this system. We don't want to disturb any more bacteria than we have to. I don't know, you don't really need to get it clean. You just need to make sure the filter media is not obstructed and not letting the filter do its job. So this system here, I'll pull it up here so y'all can see better. You can tell it has 3 different racks of filter media in it. The water comes in and flows through these cascades, there its name, through these filter medias. And what I've done on this one, I modified this one when I first put it in. I put a set of balls in one of the canister compartments. This will be the first time I tore this one apart with the balls in it. This was a new filter not too long ago, so just be interested in seeing. But basically, I know that you have to have a lot of those balls to do a real good job, but we want to make sure that we do everything we can to have the filter itself work. Plus, biologically, the fish tank can take care of itself if it's done properly. So, okay, this has a handle on it for carrying, which is pretty nice. It feels a little bit thin for the weight of it with the water in it. So just be careful. On the top of this, you'll see there's a pump, and this pump right here will help you prime. So, but to tear it apart, we're gonna pop the 2 clamps here, and it's got 2 on the side. Okay, and when I pull this out, there's only one thing that you're really gonna notice. There's an O-ring, pieces of my plants or any type of trash that's ended up in the propeller that could do damage to this filter. And what I was talking about, it's kind of hard to tell, but inside here, you can take this out. Okay, and there's a propeller right here. You can see it there. You want to be careful with it. It does have a film on it. It's just natural. There's nothing wrong with that. So we're just going to pretty much wipe that off that motor, the magnet off of it. That way we don't cause any damage to it. Wipe the propeller off. And I just inspected it. It's not missing any pieces or parts. And the way this works, this goes in the middle, this centers it so it will spin inside the motor. So much of that, I'm going to look inside there. I'm going to rinse that hole out just a little bit where that motor was at. Make sure there's nothing larger, pieces of trash or anything in that. And it looks really good. Nothing really coming out of there. So that's about all we're going to do to the pump head here. We're going to put this back together. So we're going to put that back just like we found it. The magnet will suck it up in there. You want to check this out. It does have a seal around it, and there's no reason to damage it. It comes in and out so easy. It has two places for you to grab here. Stick that back in. You just twist around till you feel it grab, and then you'll know it's in its place. There was one O-ring inside here I was going to tell you about. It's the O-ring that goes around inside the pump, and you'll see it's got the same stuff on it. When I got this out of the box, this one here, the O-ring, was not installed properly, and I was kind of worried about it, but it was cramped over a little bit, so I cleaned it up, straightened it, put it on in the proper place, and it's actually gone back to the right shape it should. It looks good. Now this right here, it goes on this, but it actually goes inside this top Cascade filter, but that's where that actually sits, and it was not in there properly. So okay, here's a strainer basket they just have on top here. I just rinsed it off. Like I said, I don't want to do any major cleaning. Just want to keep on inspecting. So if you get worried about it, you can lay these out in order as they come out. Okay, now the top canister, I'm gonna pull it out. You'll see, same thing. It's gonna have this nice slime on it. These are the factory filters. I change these out every time I do one from the factory ones. They make better ones, I think. You can get your own material and cut them. You see how this isn't very full of filter material, and this filter here is very, you see it pushes down the paper thin, and it's very, easy to tear up. I'll show you what I replace it with. If I was going to reuse these, I really wouldn't do a whole lot. Maybe a little bit of water on them, squeeze out the main large pieces of material, and try to reuse it. And you see there's just not much to that. So we're not going to reuse this one. It's been in for roughly about 3 months, so we won't reuse that. So okay, so that was our first one. First basket's in and out. I'm just going to go ahead and stack this back in the same order it came out. Okay, so now here's the middle basket. Now, from the factory, they give you a bag of charcoal, activate charcoal. Rinsing it off, you don't really need to do that too much. Charcoal, some people don't want to use it, some people do. It does help the tank. I believe you're going to be one of these people, if you want it to help, you're going to see the real benefit. You're going to need to change it completely out every time you service your filter to get its full benefit. You can actually hear the charcoal working when it's new. You hear the water working over it. I'm more or less keeping it in there just strictly for the biological factor of it. So that goes in that second basket. Again, you're going to see we have another one of these real thin factory filters in here that we're not going to reuse. You see it's tearing up, just coming out. So I'm going to rinse this basket. Okay. there's no difference in the baskets. If you look, they're exactly the same. So if you got one wrong, it really doesn't matter except for the media. I'm gonna put this charcoal back in the second one so I remember where it come from. Okay, now, last basket, the third one. You pull it out of the bottom. You notice it's up higher, and the reason it's up higher, this is the one I put my balls in. Again, this is one we're not going to use. There. These are my balls. There's not really a whole lot here. This filter doesn't allow for a lot of room. My ideal situation would be to have an extra one of these filters and just fill the thing top to bottom with these balls. That would probably give me enough to help out with my tank, but I'm not going to do anything to these. They're not obstructing the flow. They're doing their job right now. Each individual ball is coated in the slime, and it's working. I don't want to put the chlorine on it. I don't want to put hot water on it. I don't want to do anything but get this back in there as soon as I can. So all we're left with now is this, and you're going to see it's going to have some solids in it in the bottom. I dumped it. It's a clear container, so you can see it's not too bad. I will rinse this out. Those solids are going to go right in there and start working on my new filter, so I want to make sure I rinse it. Okay. Like I said, it don't have to be a scalding hot water. It was warm, so. Okay, so now we're going to go back. What we're going to go back with, I'll show you this one. This one came out of the filter when I bought the filter. I saved it for a pattern only. This is their biological filter. It probably works good, but it's going to be one of these that's going to plug off fairly quick. And when it does, you're going to lose all of your biological efforts when you rinse this out. So I didn't want to go through that. So I went with the balls. I know the balls aren't going to plug. I can shake them out and we can keep it going. So I'm trying to regain this filter here with those balls. These are ones I cut. I bought this from PetSmart. I think it was just a few dollars for a sheet of this stuff. I think I got about 12, 13 filters out of it. And you look, it don't have to be perfect. I cut these to shape here. I laid it on top, made a mark, took scissors, cut a hole, and that's going to be my filter now. It's a little thicker. It's a lot more durable, and I will show y'all what these look like in the next film when I rebuild this one next time. But I've already used them, and they do hold up a lot better. They have about the same capacity as far as filtering. They're just a lot tougher material. Some people are going to Walmart and getting the polyfill. It's just straight up polyfill batting like to bat a quilt. That probably will work fine too. This is just going to be, it's almost like a plastic two-part filter here. And I think it's going to be a lot better. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this, I'm going to slide this right back in here. I'll put that around that hole, okay, and that's it. I didn't do anything to those balls, remember that. There's some solids on the bottom of this, I really don't care. I just got the worst out. I'll drop this right back in the container like I got it out. This one has my charcoal in it. Like I said, I'm using it pretty much for a biological filter too. I'm gonna drop this right on top. Again, I'm gonna put it right back. Each one of these stack, if you can see that hole, this is gonna go right back on top, okay? Next one, we got rid of theirs. I'm gonna install one of my filters in this also. One thing I could probably do, I could put this in here with this filter and put it in and get a little more media and just use it for a filter, a coarse filter. Probably change where I placed it, but I really don't want to use that. I want to save that for my pattern. So I'm gonna put my third one of these back in. Again, they just go right over just like the other ones come out. This one here would be a good place for some more bivalves probably, and that's probably what ended up happening here. But with that, or I could double filter. And the way this works is, if you look, there's actually room around this filter inside here. Very little, but there is room. So the water doesn't, once this pump starts getting full and the water won't flow through, it stops filtering for the most part, except for your biological. So when you start noticing that water getting cloudy, you need to go ahead and do a service on these. So like I said, I'm gonna paste this last one back in. Now the only thing different here, this one has this, I don't know what you call a strainer, but this drops back in on top of this. So now we're ready to put the O-ring on. And that O-ring goes back in the groove and it holds that strainer kind of in place. Now we're ready to drop the pump back on. So we checked this out, we flushed it, checked the motor. We're ready to drop this one back in. Okay, I didn't have to force it, it sit right on there where it should. This is where they messed up from the factory. This piece here was pushing this O-ring down funny, and I've got in there, I just checked it, it's good. So just drop it in there, clamp, clamp, those two. Okay, now I'm ready just to wipe it off and carry it back over and install it. Like I said, we inspected it, checked our cord, everything's good and dry. Set this back in here. Now, you may say, well, where does my lines go? You have a black fitting. You can check that out, and you have a black and blue fitting. And they both are the same fitting except for the colors. So this blue one is going to go on the blue. So we'll go ahead and install it. And it just spins on. And you don't have to get crazy with these, they are plastic. The black one will go on the same way. Now we can just open these back up, and you're going to hear the tank making all kinds of noise. It's the air. Now when I open these, it's going to start filling water up automatically. You're going to start seeing the water coming up in the filter there. I didn't do anything but open the valves up after I tightened the lines. Okay, it's quit now. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to move this out of the way so you can see. I'm going to push this primer, and I push it several times. And I look up top of my tank, and when I see that I'm not getting much air, I know that it's pretty much filled the rest of the cavity up in the top. Make sure it doesn't have any air in it. Now I'm going to plug this back up. Very quiet. I don't see any leaks. Okay, I took out about 25 more gallons, so I probably did a total of about 40 gallon change water. I do that, try to get 25 gallons or so every week or so, just to pull it out and then top back off. The filter's been running for about 25 minutes maybe after the clean out, and it's still got some stuff we got floating around from the water I added, but you can tell how clear these filters are. I know I get a lot of people on Facebook and on our page that want to make comments on the Penn Plex stuff, but if you don't have the money to buy a Maserati, you shouldn't buy it. So we don't have the high dollar filters, but we're operating this tank on a budget. Got some fairly nice fish, and just trying to keep it up and going, and to maintain it, and to let these fish grow out, and like I said, they're doing really well in this tank with the breeds I have. Like I said, they really haven't had any issues. I've lost very few fish, and it's not been water related. So just remember, you don't have to always buy the high dollar to get started. You can always add that later. So if you have any questions, don't feel like you can't ask. We won't shoot you down on our page. You'll see we do things a lot differently than a lot of people do. I know there's going to be some people that's going to be upset they see convicts in this tank with the fish you see, but we like all the breeds of fish, and I'm sure it could be done better. But like I said, I'll just go over equipment again. We have one power head in the corner. It's not a real powerful one. It's just enough to keep the water from getting stagnated in the corners. I got my 2 heaters, and like I said, I got them set to where they bounce back and forth. I run between 79 and 80 degrees. Artificial plants throughout the tank with some rocks we found locally that I actually treated and cleaned really well before we put in. I'm running some live plants I got off Amazon, and some of them are doing okay, some of them aren't doing so swell, but I'm trying to keep them away from the cichlids. If you notice, they've grown out to the top of the tank. You see they're already at the very top, so they're growing well. I'm going to try to move that glass back and let that expand some, and maybe start, when I get set up enough, I'll put some fish in there with it. Maybe something that won't bother it as bad, but I want to fit the plants in there just for the natural effect of the tank. And so, like I said, if you have any questions, any problems, let us know and we'll try to help you out. Also going to do a video on my light fixture. You'll notice this high quality light fixture. You can do this light fixture right here for around $35–40 between Amazon and with Lowe's. So you see it's LED. It is all colors. We can set all different types of moods with it for the fish. There's one of the night, and like I said, it's during the day, so we got a lot of daytime light coming in. It's remote control, full control of it. It can go through all of its stages. It's got multiple colors. You can do about anything you want to do in the tank with it, for whatever you prefer here. And like I said, there's no sense in paying the high dollars for the other ones that they have out that cost so much money that really are hard to afford, when you can you can do something like this for a little bit of nothing. So anyway, we'll do that on our next video, and we'll go from there. Thank you all. Make sure you like our page, West Kentucky Area Cichlid Keepers, and comment on it. Let me know what you think. Thanks.